Hello, welcome to another one of my videos about error coins, and this time we are looking at an amazing 1999 £2 coin with the Technologies design, and yeah, there's a few bits missing. I reckon this could be a mint error. Yeah, this is really cool. So what's happened here is the outer blank that was prepared when this coin was struck was missing a big chunk, and that's because it was clipped. So just like the inner part, these outer parts, the brassy coloured bit, they're all punched out of a sheet of metal, and then the sheet advances along a bit and then a load more holes are punched out. And if it doesn't advance enough, you end up getting a situation where you try to punch a hole out of a piece of metal that's already had a little bit punched out of it. So you end up with a circle being cut out that has a clip in it, or two clips in this case. There's a little one here too. And then the outer blank would then go through another process where the edge lettering gets imparted on it. There's some here. And then the center is punched out of the brass colored bit, so that then the middle part, the silver colored piece, can then be fed into that gap, and then the coin is struck. What I really like about £2 coin errors is, particularly on ones like this with outer clips, there's no way that this could possibly be fabricated post-mint. I've seen a lot of foolish people say, oh, I can just cut a bit off this coin and call it an error. But no, because when this coin was struck, you can see that the silver coloured inner part is bulging out in this area. And it's also even bulging out down here slightly, where you've got this tinier clip. That's because simply when the coin is squeezed really hard between the obverse and reverse die, it's naturally going to want to flow out towards where those gaps are, because that's the easiest way to escape. So as a result, you get this bulging, which just simply would not be present if someone had just cut the edge off this coin. Basically, it's a witness mark testifying that this part of the coin must have been missing before it was struck. Another really cool thing about this is you can see the groove that exists on the inner piece there. So the inner blanks, before they're struck, they get a groove channeled into the edge, so that when they are struck alongside the brassy bit, the metal of the brassy bit will flow slightly into that groove, which locks the two pieces together, so you can't really take them apart very easily. Again, the really nice thing about this is it's completely detached here, so if I pulled that hard enough, perhaps I could actually take the middle bit out, but I don't really want to do that. And as we can tell, this is a genuine clip. It's also useful to examine the surfaces we see here, so you can compare them with other potential clips and, you know, potentially work out which ones are fake or not. So yeah, like I say, this outer has been clipped twice, a big one here, smaller one there, and they've had a knock-on effect on what the shape of the inner piece is when the coin is struck. It's also slightly evident on this side too. So yeah, 1999, a good year for errors, it seems. Another really interesting thing about this is, when I mentioned the edge lettering, bear in mind that the edge lettering would have been put on this after it was clipped. So imagine this still being a fully brass coloured outer blank without the hole in the middle first. It gets rolled through a machine which picks up a bit of a rim on the outer, which helps with the striking process, because it means there's not so much metal that has to flow up into forming that rim to start with. But also during that rimming process, or whatever you call it, that's when the edge lettering gets imparted onto the coin, and that stays there before the coin is struck. And then when the coin is struck, it moves out as far as it can to fill up the collar, and that's when these lines, the edge milling, get imparted as well. But the edge lettering stays there because the coin isn't struck with such great force that it pushes it all the way out. But yeah, imagine this rolling along though. Once it reaches that point, it's not actually going to get any purchase. It's not going to be pushed into the edge lettering. So as a result, that's why the edge lettering stops at this point and doesn't exist anywhere along the rest of the edge of the coin. It only exists on this side, which, or apart from that bit there, there's a tiny bit there. So I think that alone is quite interesting. So it would say standing on the shoulders of giants there, but you can only really see what it says from about there. So no edge lettering at all here, because it never got imparted because of this clipping, which is another good reason to not have any doubts whatsoever about the authenticity of this error. So yeah, so I've waffled on a bit, but I hope you found that interesting and informative, especially if you're looking at similar types of errors. I really do like bimetallic coin errors just because there's no there's no room for doubt as to whether this is genuine or not. But yeah, if you did like it, please like and subscribe, and I'd love to see what you thought about this in the comments section. Don't forget to check out my other error coin videos too, if this sort of thing floats your boat, 'cause there's plenty more to see there. But bye for now.